Hello everyone and welcome back to Development Adelaide. This is episode number 3, What Happens Now? In today's episode I will cover the recent state election and also the federal budget and what it means for Adelaide and South Australia. The main focus of this, of course, will be infrastructure and transport in Adelaide and South Australia and what the changes are coming in the next couple of years. So let's get straight into it. All right, first of all, let's go through some of the existing commitments, what the Liberal government proposed before the election and what was included in their previous budget. So obviously the main headline item would be the North-South corridor between Torrens and Darlington. Then we've got the Riverbank Arena, which we'll get into a little bit later. We've got the Aboriginal Art and Cultural Centre, the new Women's and Children's Hospital. We've got a 10-year plan for a renewal of train stations around Adelaide. We've got the Hasten Tunnel upgrade, got the main South Road duplication to Aldinga, the Truro bypass, and Harndorf access. So those were the main commitments that were spearheaded by the Liberal Party before the election. Now going back to the Labor Party and what they promised during the election campaign. So we've got the Riverbank Arena cancellation, which they dubbed as the basketball stadium. We've got taking back the trains and the trams back into public hands. So not having private operators taking care of that service, but putting it back into the public sector. We've got the Port Dock Railway between the little spur line that goes from Alberton up into the centre of Port Adelaide. We've got the main South Road duplication to Silix Beach, so not just going as per the previous plan to Aldinga, but now going all the way to Silix Beach and having 2 lanes in each direction. We've got the Southern Expressway interchange at Majors Road, a new commitment to the Adelaide Aquatic Centre and rebuilding that. I believe it was about $80 million that the Labor government committed during the election. We've got improvements to the 30-year plan for Adelaide. So that includes things like character, heritage, improving the canopy coverage around our urban areas and having more green open space, more certainty around implementing the appropriate design standards for businesses and industry, and also improving the e-planning system and the processes that are behind it. So quite a few behind the scenes things for that system. Obviously, the big ticket item of the election was the health sector, and there's quite a few upgrades which we won't go into because we're going to be focusing more about around the transport side of things. Planning and design code again, improving those sort of aspects around that, and in terms of housing, looking at expanding low deposit loans through Home Start. Okay, just focusing straight onto the main South Road duplication that we discussed before. So as per the previous Liberal Party plan, the duplication along main South Road was going to be between Griffiths Drive in Seaford and Aldinga Beach Road in Aldinga. So that whole section between those two areas was going to be duplicated as a 2x2 configuration. Then we've got now the Labor Party proposing to extend that along the purple line. Now, this will take it from a 2x1 configuration, so one lane heading in one direction, 2 lanes heading the other direction. That will now be 2 lanes in each direction under the Labor plan. Going to be a couple $1 million, maybe 50, I think, from memory, but we'll have to wait and see what happens in the budget. Also important to note, as you can see in the left-hand corner there, there's an image of the intersection with Port Road. So in the plan, it's going to be grade separated. So we've got the grade separation happening here at Port Road and also at Tatachilla Road down here. So those will be grade separated under both plans as far as I'm aware. So the second project I wanted to discuss today in this video is the Port Dock spur off the outer harbour line in Port Adelaide. Now, this was a bit of a contentious project because of the fact that there was a budget blowout while the Liberal Party was in power, but the Labor Party has now decided to put this one back onto the agenda. So if we look at the map here, the outer harbour line follows this path here across the Port River up into the current Glanville station, and that sort of services a lot of those areas, including Newport and the new development by Cedar Woods. So we also have a second development up here, which is being constructed by Stardock, or now Kite Developments, under the name of Dock 1. So it's going to cover a lot of those areas along that riverfront there. And what the Labor Party has in the previous government and in this current government proposed to do is construct a spur line off the outer harbour line. It will follow this green path here into a siding just next to the National Railway Museum at Port Adelaide. Now, there is a car park here which will be converted partially into a bus interchange. Now, that's going to provide a good and seamless transfer between the two modes, and will hopefully encourage more people to catch public transport in the northwest of Adelaide. So this is going to be a project which is going to be reinvigorated over the next couple of weeks. I'm sure the government will have more to say about this project, and if any changes are going to be happening on this one compared to the previous plan, they'll outline those things over the next couple of weeks. Now, the other important event that happened in the last couple of weeks was the budget for the federal government was handed down, and that again included some big infrastructure announcements for South Australia. So just a bit of a summary here. We've got the final piece of funding now for the North-South corridor. So that's going to be really important for the next for the next decade almost, in terms of road projects for South Australia. We've got the Marion Road grade separation at Plympton. So that's where the Glenelg Tram, Cross Road and Anzac Highway, that sort of area. There will be $200 million from the federal government, and then I'm assuming there will be some funds also from the state government committed to that. We've got the Adelaide Hills Productivity and Safety Package. That again hasn't been quite detailed yet what that entails, but I'm sure we'll get some more details in the near future. We've got the South Eastern Freeway Managed Motorway. That's very much a managed road management project more than a big ticket infrastructure project. We've got Horrocks Highway, which will have some more funding allocated to it to make it safer, and also the Marion Road and Sir Donald Batman Drive intersection coming down from Adelaide Airport. Now, the most interesting out of all those announcements was the grade separation at Marion Road. So again, things are very unclear about what the actual project will entail. $200 million is a lot of money, so I would assume there will be some property acquisition included in that. But let's run through some of the possibilities of what could happen. So probably the cheapest option at this stage would be to grade separate just the tram intersection, the tram crossing here. So that will take out that whole tram corridor, possibly even for Cross Road. Again, not too sure. Given the fact that they're so close together, it probably would be both that would be grade separated. Now, the other option they could also look at is widening some of this here, some of this Marion Road corridor here. It's important to note that there are quite a few commercial businesses in this area, so that will be very tricky in terms of actually forcing these businesses out, especially since a lot of them are actually quite new. So you've got a lot of those apartments that have been built up by the Highway Inn, you've got the Highway Inn itself, and then you've got on the other side of the road a few heritage buildings and a few new townhouses. So it will be interesting to see if that's actually included as part of the project. The other thing that I could also look at is actually grade separating the other two key intersections here at Anzac Highway and Crossroads. So very hard to say at this stage. It probably depends on how much the state government is also throwing into this project. You would assume that this will get underway before the major works start at the South Road or the North-South corridor, on a little bit to the east of Marion Road, to sort of help alleviate some of the traffic concerns. But again, a lot of that timing and everything is still a bit uncertain. So this will be one to watch over the next couple of months as more details come out about this project. Now, the other project I wanted to cover tonight is the Southeastern Freeway Managed Motorway. So a managed motorway essentially is a way of using technology to assist with traffic flow and getting better outcomes in terms of the road that already exists in that location. So we saw a lot of that happening between Crayfus and Stirling. And you can see this on the left hand side there. You can see the lane management pylons there, where you can see the speed and also if the lane can be used. That actually expanded the road from 2 lanes in each direction to 3 lanes in each direction. And obviously no shoulder means that lane management is actually required in this location. Now what they're proposing, from what I can gather, is they're going to go from Glen Osmond all the way along the freeway down to Crayfus. So that whole corridor from Glen Osmond to Stirling will include that managed motorway and some of those technologies I mentioned before. This has already been included in previous funding. So the Hasten tunnels are getting a $60 million upgrade over the next year or so. And part of that, from what I understand, is that will also include some of those technologies. So basically putting all those things together to create a long corridor, which is going to hopefully improve some of the traffic flow issues and so forth. Well, thanks for joining me in this really short video, just outlining some of the things that have been proposed by both the Labor Party in the election campaign and by the Liberal federal government in their 2022-23 budget. So quite a few interesting projects coming up here, which we'll be following, of course, on this channel. So I'm just going to run through some of the upcoming videos that are going to be coming to this channel. So we've got a update on the Highmarsh Stadium upgrade that's happening at the moment, which is due to be completed for the Women's World Cup next year. We've got a general development update happening as well. That's coming very soon. I'll update you on some of the other projects happening around Adelaide. We'll do some more project videos around the Portrush and McGill Road intersection, and of course the Port Wakefield Highway upgrade, which is happening at the moment still up in Port Wakefield and surroundings. Other events which are coming up in the next couple of months and weeks, we've got the Dominator design review. Again, like I mentioned in the previous video, this is the tallest building, or proposed to be the tallest building in Adelaide. So hopefully we'll get some more ideas around how it actually looks in terms of design. We've got the Gawler line reopening happening. It previously was slated for April, but now it's been updated to open around June. And we've got the state budget as well happening in 2022-23, where we'll be going through some of the projects that the state is proposing. So we'll get some more detail around those things. So yeah, if you like this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and leave feedback. Again, this is a new thing that I'm doing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.